Hello. Don't know if anyone's here yet. Is Lena finished? I'm not even sure if Lena finished. Let me share. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to all of those of you who are already in the new year. Hello, AJ, Shauna, Bethan, Debbie, Dixie. Hi, Dixie and Jen. It's been a long time, Dixie, Vicky, Joyce, Carol, Denise, Elaine. Wow, Judy, Dee Dee, Dar, Eileen, Colleen, Gail, Kathy. Woohoo, Julie G, Linda, Sharon, Diana. Woo, Terry with an IE. Sarah, Beth Ann. Gosh, now I can't remember. Carol S. Catherine. Hey, Sue. Nice to see you. T3. Terry. Teresa, I mean. Hi, Heidi. Nice to see you. And Kathy. Wow, Josie. Woo, Kimberly. Wow, wow, wow. So Happy New Year to those who are already celebrating. Here's some bubbles for you. Okay. Well, you're welcome, Scooby. It's always fun, so I'm glad to do it. Hey, Joe, Joan, Cheryl. Hey, Mandy. Thanks, Dee Dee. Thanks, Heather. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so for everyone, there is a blog, there is a link. Let me get you the link. Oh, no, where'd it go? Where did the rest of my Chrome go? One moment, please. Here is a link. If you did not get the link yet with the downloadable, there you will find a link to the downloadable art calendar. This is my giveaway. Everybody gets it. I'm not mailing out anything. I'm really bad at mailing things, including prizes. So the last couple of years, I've simply done a handout that everybody can download, and that's my prize. So everybody gets it. Hello, Charlotte. Nice to see you. Add it all. Okay. Oh, thanks, Judy. Yes, I am the president of Club BAM, bad at mailing. So anyway, so what the handout is or what the download is a PDF file that you can print off for the calendar. Now, if your printer does do, my printer, when I put regular paper through, will automatically print on double-sided. It has a feeder that flips the paper and prints on the other side. But what you have to do for mine is it came out like this, and the other side has to be printed upside down so that when you fold it, it's correct. So if you have to manually, when I printed on watercolor paper, I couldn't use my double-sided printing option. Hello, Lena. Thanks so much for the awesome stream, Linda. Lena, I mean, oh my gosh. Hey, Kirianne. Oh, thanks, Dee Dee. I was making it for myself, so hey, why not do it? It's the last few years I've done a calendar of some kind. So, So if you're doing it and you have to manually switch it over, which you probably do if you're going to do cardstock or watercolor paper anyway, is when it comes out like this, I had to rotate it, okay, 180 degrees, and put it back in so that it would come out properly. But my printer is a front load, okay? Mine goes in like this and comes out the printer like this. So then I have to flip it so it can do the other side. So my suggestion is, if you want to print it, if you're printing it double-sided, then I suggest you try pages 1 and 2 first and make sure that you get it to print the correct way. Okay? Now, if you, let's say you want to put it on watercolor paper, I've got a pretty decent, I've got an Epson XP850. So it's a very good computer. So it does take 140-pound watercolor paper. But not all printers will. So if you want to use a watercolor paper or a heavier cardstock, but your printer won't take it, then just print off the pages one-sided, cut your paper, make your book and bind it, then trim these off and either double-sided tape or glue them onto your book, okay? So that's my suggestion if your printer will not take heavy cardstock or whatever. And if you really want to, I give you permission. I mean, if you don't have a printer at all or whatever, and you want to spend a buck or two, take it to Staples or Office Depot and get them to print it on good, copy paper or good cardstock for you or whatever. Okay. Hey, Linda with Y. Hi, Laura. Anyone else? Hey, Janet, Lucy. Anyone else I missed? If I missed you, I apologize. Oh, there's Nick and Tina. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Vaughn. Vaughn. Oh, Dee Dee, I have a different one from you now because I broke a part of my artisan. I used to have an artesian like you do. But I broke a part of it that could not be fixed. So Epson was very nice and gave me a $60 discount on a new one. So I now have the XP850, but I think Dee Dee still has the Artesian 850 or something, but they're very good printer. I'll never buy a printer that doesn't have the option to double side print anymore. And of course it even has the double-sided scanning. It'll do double-sided scanning even, so it's really cool. Oh, you have a tank Epson, do you, Vicky? Oh, you're not happy with the quality. Yeah, see, well, mine... Anyway, we'll continue about that. All right, so first thing I want to show you before I go on to my watercolors, I want to show you, once you get this printed out, if you're doing it double-sided, how you put it together. I have it printed off so that it does 2-page signatures. Because I was doing watercolor paper, I didn't want to put more than 2 signatures inside each other. So this double-sided is set to have only 2 pages in a signature, okay? And I had to set it up so that I had to set it up to print off so that the correct things were on each side, right? Because it was being printed double-sided. So what you do, sorry, my sisters are texting back and forth, so I do apologize. I turned my computer off, but my iPad is still on, and I want to leave it on so that I can hear if anyone tries to tweet me if something goes wrong. Hey, Faith. Hello, hello. Tank printers. Beth Ann, instead of having little wee cartridges with ink, each ink color has a tank that gets refilled. So they print hundreds and hundreds of pages. But you find it's terrible, Lucy? Well, that's good to know. Because I love mine. But I don't even use the Epson real cartridges now. But I do need to pick up some real Epson cartridges because my Epson ink is water proof, and this cheap stuff that I get on Amazon is not. But it's so cheap. I can get all 6 of my cartridges. I can get my 5 color and 2 black. So I can get 7 cartridges for like $24. Whereas 1 cartridge for the actual Epson ink is $15. So yeah, I know. So this is page 1. All right. So each page is a signature because it's going to cut in half. Okay. So this is the first signature. Cut it in half at 5.5. All right. Then it's set up so that the right side goes on top of the left side, and then you fold it. Okay, now when I did my watercolor paper, I used my scoreboard and whatever because, okay, so once again, this is signature 2. Trim it down the middle, cut it down the middle. Right goes on top of left. That's signature 2. I'm not being careful about folding it, so because this is just a sample for you guys. Oh, what's Mark saying now? Ha ha ha, Mark. Dee Dee, that's all your fault. I blame you for that. It doesn't come up like that on my screen because I zoomed in. I'm zoomed in. It's all Dee Dee's fault. Okay, so right on top of left. Fold in half. Now, when I folded mine in half, I did each one individually. And then like Dee Dee did earlier. Now, because this is just copy paper, there's not much of an issue here. But there was 1/8 of an inch of my watercolor paper that had to get trimmed off. And they're still not perfect, but they're watercolor paper. And watercolor paper is not really supposed to be perfect anyway. And then one more. This is the last. Okay, right goes on top of left. And that's the 4th. So now you will see you have the cover. All right, I'll show you the watercolor one because it's nicer. So you have your front, you have January, and you have your spot to create your own art for January. Hi, Ian. Oh, good night, Ian. Hi, Queen Pam. Sorry, so January, February. You can draw your art for February, March, April. Okay, and it goes through all the months. And then when you get to December, then I created a spot for a list of birthdays. Hey, Jeannie. Oh, Mark. Hey, Maxie. Then other important dates, so like anniversaries or something that's going to happen that year, you can add there. And then then I had to fill in these pages. So I said, oh, there's a perfect number of space for the 2020. Okay. So now, if you want, I'm going to do Coptic binding. If you want, you can create a cover, but I'm going to do mine without a cover. And you're getting your first two put together is always trickier. Just like when you're doing your cover with the first signature is tricky. Well, it's not tricky. It's just there's an extra step. Okay. So for using, for punching my holes, I've created a template. Oh, fireworks. No, it's only 10:30. So it must be just someone in their yard doing them because it's only 10:30. Oh, really, Sandy? Hi, by the way. Someone stole your last year's calendar. Last year, I think it was the calendar with a what do you call it? Post-it note holder, right? Okay. So I did 1/2 inch from the ends. And then I did every 3/4 of an inch. But you know what? I don't think I wonder if I have to do that close. Maybe. I probably only need 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't need that many. Hold on. I'm going to do this on the other side. Let me get my ruler. Okay, so I'm going to go 1/2 inch in from the edge. And then 5 1/2, so that's 2 3/4 is the middle. So then that's 1 1 1/4, so it's 1 1/8 is the middle of that. As long as it's close, 1 1/8 there. Okay. So I did it 1/2 inch, 1 5/8, 2 3/4, 3 7/8, and at 5. So at 1 1/2, at 1 5/8, 2 3/4. Hold on. Sorry, that's wrong. No, it's not. 3 7/8 and 5. So that's where my holes are going to be. And I got my piercer here. Hey, Debbie. Welcome, welcome. Debbie with an IE and Debbie with a Y. And Donna. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Norma, congratulations on your wins today. Norma won 2 giveaways and very deserving because she is so generous at giving Fibs wonderful gifts. Happy Mail. And no, I don't have a book cradle or anything. I just, whatever. Now, if you're doing a blank book, something that's not printed, for me, it's easy for me to remember which is the bottom, which is the top when you're punching. You always want to make sure if you're using a template like this. I have a link in my description box to C Lemon, who has the best, in my opinion, of what I've watched anyway, the best tutorial on Coptic binding. Now, this Coptic binding that I'm linking, she has a cover on it. I'm doing mine without a cover, so the first part is different. But if you want to do it with a cover, follow this tutorial because it is the best one that I found. And when I was first learning Coptic binding, I looked at a lot of videos trying to find the best taught one, the clearest, with the easiest instructions, and hers was it. So I'm going to lay them face side down, and I'm going to start at the back. So I'm always going to make sure that I'm punching my holes with the inside part of it facing correctly. I don't want to, and the numbers this way. I don't want to punch it this way in case there's a slight off, difference in where I punched my holes. I want to make sure that my pattern is always facing the same way so that they line up better when I go to sew. And I'm making sure that the fold is right into the fold of my signature as well. Now, when you're using watercolor paper, you need to be very careful when you're pulling your wax linen thread through, because the way the paper is molded, it can rip fairly easily. So all right, so I've got that facing the correct way. I've got this facing the correct way. Yes, I used cold press my Fabriano 25% cotton studio. Hold on, where I left it where I could grab it. Where'd it go? 1 moment, please. Wait a minute, that's not it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I moved it. Fabriano Studio cold press. It's 25% cotton. Oh no, Lucy, really? Uh-oh. Well, Lucy, if you have a better link, I don't use embroidery. Okay, first of all, I don't do embroidery floss. I don't do double thread. I use wax linen thread. So yes, Lucy, you are correct. You wouldn't get very far with embroidery floss before it would start fraying on you. But what I do like about hers is she does clearly explain and show the steps. Hey, Jen. Hey, Zeely. But if you buy the wax dental floss, it works great as well. I'm going to use some black wax linen thread so that my problem with some of the other ones that I found when I did my search being a teacher was they were way too wordy for what they were actually doing. They used way too many words to explain the process. So, and yeah, I should probably use my clips, but except for a 45-minute nap. I've been up since 7 a.m. my time. It's 22:11. And make sure I went. Yeah. I had a 45-minute nap at Nick's. Sorry, Nick. I was sitting back watching you and I fell asleep. All right, so I have the book sitting the right way. Hello, Green. Welcome, welcome. Love to have lots of newbies. Linda Green as well. Hello, hello. Dee Dee. Hey, I think it's been a while since I slept at your stream, Dee Dee. I used to all the time. But not as much lately. Although I do miss it sometimes to go out for breakfast. Oops, I almost left my... Jim Escalante, that you think. Jim Escalante. All right, well, I'll have a look at his, but... Hey, CB! Oh, no worries. I wouldn't want you grumbling about how hungry you are at my stream. That just wouldn't do. I gobbled my food really fast because I thought Lena was going to be late. I got all mixed up because I knew it was 7:15, but I was looking at the clock and it was 7:15 my time. And then Shauna finished a whole hour early. That's what confused me. I knew she finished early, but she was like a whole hour early. And I was like, oh, I was so confused. Anyway, all good now. So I almost have no voice, but that's because I'm tired. Okay, so I think I did that one wrong. All right, so I'm doing Coptic binding, but without a cover because I have a cover. So turn those upside like this. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Let me see here. Make it a little brighter. Julie, apparently we need the prompts. Just being silly. Okay. All right. So I am... Oh, just a moment. I knocked my bottle with my my container with my wax or needles in it on the floor. Just a moment. Where to go? There it is. One moment, please. Knocked it over when I was eating. Okay. Oh, hello, Tita. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Okay. I just have an old, large pill bottle here. And ouch. You can use a straight needle, but I absolutely love using a mattress needle. Right now, I don't know if that's my small one, though. Where'd it go? I heard it land. No, that's the second one. That's my large one, I think. That's really weird because I thought I heard it fall there. Very strange. Does anyone see another curved needle? I only have 10% vision. So, oh, there it is. Okay, I knew that was my big one. It just slid under the... Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use my black wax linen thread so that you guys will be able to see a little better. And all my letters and numbers are in black anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. This, I finally found it at Michael's. Oops. I don't know why that. Yeah, Vaughn, I know, right? Exactly. Find it when you sit or walk on it, one or the other. Okay, I'm going to put it in my palette. Remind me that I've got it in my watercolor palette when I forget in 2 minutes where I put it. Okay. All right. Now, seeing the beginning of this black wax linen thread is not going to be the... Oh, look at that. I found it right away. All right. I only have 4 pages, so... That's 1, 2, 3. I do 3 for each. 4. All right. It's probably more than enough. I haven't done enough journals to judge it very well. It's probably way too much, but anyway. Oh, I guarantee it's way too much. Oh, well. Rather too much than not enough. It's easy to join if you run out, but... All right, because of my vision, I have learned that if I take the yarn and pinch it right between my thumb and my forefinger. Now, I don't know if I can do it up close to the camera and actually thread it, but I'll show you. Then I place the eye over that spot in my finger, and then I just move my fingers like this, and the thread goes through the eye of the needle. And I can usually get it on the first run, and I may have to use no, it went through. Barely. All right, And I can always thread it on the first try, especially when it's black thread because you can see it. So I'm not going to put a knot in the end. Because it's going to get tied off when you finish your first two. Yay, Monique, way to go. Hey, Tanya. I don't know if it's Tanya or Tanya. Let me know if it's Tanya the first way or Tanya the second way. I've heard it pronounced both. Yay, Debbie. Woohoo. Debbie is taking Jen's place because Jen had a family emergency tonight. So is not able to stream after all. She was replacing Marie. Oh, good, Jean. What did I do? I didn't. There we go. Sorry, I'm just poking it through that way so I can. So you start on the outside, go through to the middle. Sorry, this is hard for me to do on screen because I can't seem to find that part. There we go. I know, me either, CB. Oh, good, Debbie. That works out perfectly. Yeah, Vaughn, really. That could have been dangerous. All right, you're going to leave some out. You're going to tie it off later, so leave enough out. Then you're going to go all the way down. Now, remember, this is just because I don't have a cover. So this is the Coptic binding when you don't have a cover. Go down to the other end and come from inside to outside. Now, anytime you're pulling something that's very important, you're never going to pull this way because that's going to rip your paper. You want to pull the way, since my thread is going this way, I'm going to pull that way to make it tight. All right, now I want to make sure I leave enough there, okay, to do a double knot when I get back down to that edge. Okay. So now I'm down there, so I'm going to put my, right, remember you're building from the bottom. So this is number 4. I'm putting on number 3. When I laid these up here, I laid them like this, and now I'm taking them, I'm going to take them like this, okay? Dead. Oh no, she wouldn't be going to bed. You're out west. Hey Zoe, hello, hello, hello. Okay, sorry. So I've got it open to the middle. So I'm going in the right hand hole. Oops. Oh. Oh, my eyes are being wingy tonight. Hold on. There we go. Oh, yeah. Went through one. It's not going through the second one. That's why. I don't have them lined up very well. Or something. Just a moment. When that happens, just go from the... Okay, so I went from the inside again just to make sure they're ready to go there. Sorry, I'm making this look hard and it really isn't. I'm only making it, it's only hard because I'm not close enough. Okay, so. Oh, my fingers are slippery. They're not greasy, they're just slippery. All right, so you need to remember. I'm going to put those on top of my head so they don't end up on the floor. Okay. All right, you pull it through. Make sure they're lined up. Now, I'm not going to clip them together yet. I'll clip them together when I get to my third one because I need to keep going back and forth between these two. So now you need to make sure that this stays taut because we're going to be going back down there in a minute. Okay, so now we're inside this one. Okay. So far, we've gone bottom, signature, your last signature, gone in the left hole. You can start at this end too, it doesn't matter, but start in the left hole, go all the way down to the other end. We went out through that and into signature 3. Now we're going to go out the next hole in that signature. This first one, getting these first two together is the trickiest. Once you get this, then it's easy peasy. And we're going right into the bottom one. There we go. Sorry. 10% vision, folks. Sometimes it's hard to find a hole in a white piece of paper. Okay, so now it doesn't matter what side of that middle thread you come through. Make sure this thread stays nice and straight. Makes your life easier. Oh, gets caught over everything. Be prepared for that. I made it way too long, guys, but all right, I've got a loop here, so I've got to pull it through. Okay. Oops. You just love it when the teacher makes it look way harder than it is. All right, so you want to pull it taut. Keep this one, pull it taut. Now, this part, next part is important. Okay, oops. It is important when you go back through this one. Okay, I'm going to go back through this one. And I need to go down the other side of this thread. So I came up on this side. I'm going to go down the other side. So I'm going to go around that thread and then back out. Oops. Oh, gosh. How did my thread go there? Oops. Now, you're going to go, oops, do a knot. So I just went underneath that vertical bar and made my knot. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back in the top hole. Hello, Cheryl. Quilty is Cheryl. Go up to the next hole. Come out. So you have to attach each signature to the one below it. So that kind of helps you remember what step you're on. So now we're going to go into the bottom one in that matching hole, if I can find it. And I'm going to punch it this way just so I make sure I can find it on the outside. Just going to, okay. All right. Oh. Sorry, guys. I know I'm off screen. So once again going into the bottom one. I shouldn't have bothered doing Coptic stitch on screen. Should have just done a simple pamphlet stitch, but anyway, this isn't too bad. So we're going back in. I'm sorry, I'm totally messing you guys up for how to hold this. This is the first time for me doing Coptic stitch without a cover, because I always do a cover on mine. Now remember, when you're doing this one, you go down the other side of the thread, but out. Okay, so you're going out the same hole, but you've gone around that middle thread to secure that thread in the center binding. Okay, make sure you pulled it taut. Then you have to do your little loop. So I'm simply, this is why it's nice to have the curved mattress needle. All right, I'm just going under the vertical stitch, making a knot. It's like you do in crocheting. It's like a chain. Making a chain stitch, but with a thread, needle and thread instead of a crochet hook. Eileen. Thank you, Dee Dee. Eileen, stop it. You behave yourself now. Well, Catherine, when it's waxed thread, it doesn't tangle nearly as easily if it would. Yes. Oh, sorry about that. I just whacked my... All right, so now you're going to go back through the top one, not the bottom one, because you just came out the bottom one, so you're going to go back in the top one. This is the only thing I like to do with needle and thread. Well, don't get me quilting or anything like that. But once I learned how to do this, I was like, oh, this is very cool. All right, next hole. Out. Oops. Sorry. Out the top hole. In the bottom. Remember, the next layers are going to be easier and much more quickly. Because you don't have to do this step. Okay, so now we've made a vertical stitch. Pulling this taut. Going down the other side of that thread. And back out that same hole. Then you're going to do that vertical stitch, or loop around the vertical stitch, I should say. Oops. Well, if only my eyes would let me do it. Loop around the stitch. Trying to do it without being totally in the way of the camera. Pulling sideways. Don't pull up like this. Don't pull like this. You want to pull the way you're traveling. I know, Lucy. The long stitch? You mean the... I don't know. I love the way this looks. I think you mean the pamphlet stitch. All right. Then you go back through the inside stitch. Or the top, excuse me. The top stitch. Go through the top hole. Oops. Not between, Jean. Hold on. I got to get my thread out of my way. I'm going back into the top signature. Do you think I can ever remember that word signature? I have to look it up every time I'm start a project. I'm like, what's it called? The set of pages that go together. And I'm like, I have to look it up every time. Thanks, Dee Dee. Yes, I haven't poked out an eye yet, Dee Dee. So yeah, it's all good. When I don't poke out an eye with a needle and thread, it's all good. You know, when I used to sew in high school, I'd have to get so close to the sewing machine that little thingamabobber, the tension thingy, yeah, it would catch my hair. So I'd be sitting there and the can you guys see? it would get caught in that little thing and my hair would be going up and down and up and down with the stupid needle. Oh, good Lord, Lifton. It was not fun trying to sew with 10% vision, let me tell you. Hey, Jillian, Happy New Year. There we go, CB. It's CB's best favorite, too. Yep, Dee Dee had a little hair in every project I sewed. Well, not in the project, just in the thread. Okay, so now when you get down to this end on this first row, you left that. So you're going to tie a box knot here. You only have to do it twice, but I think I'll do a third one just to make sure. It's wax linen and thread, so it is not going to come out. And then I'm going to take that end and trim it right down. All right. Now make sure you don't trim off the end that's attached to the needle. That would be like me to do that, but anyway. So the next two are going to be much easier and much faster. I'm going to take this. And my clamps. Oh, Gail, I hope not. I don't think so. Uh-oh. Ha, Sharon. Very funny. No, it's not hooked. It may have been over it, but it's not hooked. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, my gosh. Oh, dang it. And I don't think it can be fixed. Because, see, you have to watch that it doesn't get caught on the corners. Because I already have my knot there, it can't be fixed. So, I'm just going to do this. I cut it. I'm going to tie it off. Problem solved. Ta-da! See? There is a solution to every problem. That makes that a little bit of a mess, but whatever. Who cares? See, now that would bother me. Before I started, I'm such a perfectionist. That would have really bothered me a year ago. And I would have gone and started this whole project again. I would have cut that. I still might when you guys are away. I still may cut it off and fix it, but I'm not going to do it now on stream. We'll see if it bugs me too much. All right, so what you have to do is you want to get these lined up, and it's most important in the binding edge that it's all lined up, but you want to leave the middle of the top one open. Now, if I had a bigger book, a larger book, I would also put another one there. But this book isn't large enough to need that. So if it was a longer book, I would definitely put another binder clip there. But these two are going to hold that okay. So, oh yes, happy anniversary, Jan and Mr. Bear. I don't know if Mr. Bear is watching too, but hello, Twinster and Mr. Twinster. All right, so now I'm at the bottom here. Just making sure I've got everything put on the right way. Yeah. I don't want to be wrong in the end. Okay. So now somehow, just a moment, I need to check something. I'm just weird here. April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, oh, I don't know. I just had this weird feeling that I put it on like flipped upside down, but I didn't. I'm right. I'm right. Okay. After all that hassle, I was correct. Okay, so now oh, Eileen. Oh, gosh. Okay. So don't forget, if you get any amount of buffering, I don't know if I'm getting buffering or not, but if you get any amount of buffering, hover over the video window, and if the little dot beside the word live is not red, then you're not watching me live. You're lagged behind. So just click the word live and it'll catch you up. So that's a good hint when you're at a busy stream that gets a fair amount of buffering. Sorry, can't find the darn hole. All right, so like I said, this part is easier, except I can't find my one moment. Okay, this way I can see where my needle's coming out, and then I can find the hole a lot easier. Okay, so like I said, these next two are going to be much quicker. They'll go much more quickly, I should say. So come in, and that is attaching these two together. Okay, so pull it snug, go out the next hole. All right, so there's only a couple of steps now that we've got those first two together. You're only going to do the second part of the step. So now I'm all hooked around there we go. Okay, want to make sure it doesn't hook around your binder clips or your corner of your book like I did already. So now I'm sewing this way. So anytime I'm pulling taut, I'm going to pull the thread this way, not this way. That'll rip your hole. I found that out the hard way. Sometimes you find out these things the hard way. Then, all right, so now you're going to go under this vertical stitch between your first two signatures. Well, yeah, if you've left enough room, Jean, that is. What the heck did I do? I've got it so tight that I can't even get under the stitching. That's probably a bad sign. It's not supposed to be that hard, Jean. Here we go. Yeah, I know, Vaughn. Believe me, we're lucky we're not seeing blood, but doing good. It's a lot easier not to draw blood when it's a larger. If it was a tiny needle I was using and not a darning needle, there would definitely be blood. So now I did my little knot. I go back through the hole I came out, back to that center, because you have to do that same process in each of your holes in the signature. So I'm going to pull it taut this way, going out. Looping around. Remember, pull the way you're traveling. Loop around the vertical stitch. Oops. Oh, gosh, Jean. I'm all thumbs. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Loop around the vertical stitch. Eileen, are you drinking too much? Hello, look. Eileen, I just can't see the space. I'm trying to do it without putting my head, my nose right up to the thing, so I can't see right. That's why I'm not getting it. It's not, I'm making it look hard just because of my vision, you guys. This is not hard to do. I think Eileen had one too many at Lena's stream. All right. See, come back up. See, so see how much quicker this is? Once you get that first, even if you're doing the cover, it's the same thing. If you're putting covers on, the first one and the last one are the most difficult. With this one, your first one is more difficult, and then the each one goes faster once you get that first layer on, your first two together. Oh, no. Okay. Do the loop. Eileen's been drinking with Janet. That's the problem. Oh, I missed Happy New Year. Happy New Year for Brazil. How did I miss it? I have my alarm set. One moment, please. Just a second. Okay. One moment. I set alarms so I would remember. Oh, no, that's right. Oh, no. Never mind. It's another 36 minutes for my first Happy New Year. Because we're over the Atlantic Ocean now, and there's probably islands there, but okay. So all right. So back through the top one. All right, make sure it doesn't catch on the corner. Out the end one. Now, this is what you need to remember. After you do your knot around the vertical stitch, yes, CB, but Brazil is more than one time zone. It's a huge country. I think it has 3 time zones in Brazil. If you look on my page, I have it all set out. Now, instead of going through into this one like we did in these, you put on your next signature, which is our top one. See, we only have a few more stitches left to go. And it would have been quicker if I wasn't doing it live on stream and not able to put it up to my nose. Okay, so where's my needle? And I want to make sure I don't have a knot in this. Okay. So instead of going through this same hole that we came out, we go through the end one of our next signature. In this case, our last one. Oops. Uh-oh. Heavens to Betsy, just a moment. Oh, that's why I wasn't holding it properly. I was like, why won't it go through? I see the hole. So you go through to your next signature. So now we're going to go the other way. We're going to go this way down our book. So you're going to pull that way. All right. Inside to out, the next hole. Outside to in, down to the next hole. Pull that way. Loop your knot. Loop the vertical stitch. Cold here too, and we've got a snowstorm coming tomorrow. 8 to 10 inches. Then you go back through the same hole in your top. All right. You know you've done it wrong if you don't end up with kind of a continuous stitch on your inside. Okay. You don't want any of these carryovers on the outside. All right. All you see on the outside are knots. Okay. Oh, Tammy, seriously, I would rather have, if it's going to be cold and miserable, I would rather have snow. I'd rather be cold enough to have snow than cold rain. I hate cold rain. Granted, I know I don't have to ever drive in the snow, but I would rather have snow than cold rain. Go through to the outside to connect this one to your one below using your knot. And then go back through. to the outside. Loop. After you do your loop, go back through the top signature. Oh, hold on. I'm all thumbs with this silly needle. Slipping. Okay, back through. Okay, go pull the way you're traveling. Well, now that I don't have to shovel because I'm a renter again, I can say that I'm. Okay, so now we're going to be finishing off here in just a moment. So going through to the outside, this is our last stitch here. Need to do our loop. I thought it was 78, Eileen. Then you go back through that top. Oops, hold on. I think we only went through one. One moment. Hello. All right, and then you make your knot on the inside by going under your thread. And see, like I said, I have way too much. I should have just done through the loop. Pull the way you're traveling. I'm going to do a second one just because I'm nervous. You should only have to do one, but two is better than one, I say. Go around the thread. Make your chain by going through the loop and pulling the way your thread is traveling to tighten the knot and cut it off. Ta-da! All right, I'm going to put that in here with the thread on it. Can be used on another small project. Yeah, Dee Dee, so true. So true. And no blood. Woohoo! All right, so not the neatest, but hey, it will do the trick. And I may put some kind of elastic on it. I haven't decided that yet because it does pop open because I bound it too tight. So I pulled it a little tight. Yes, Dee Dee, I'm going to watercolor my first page. That's why I left it as an outline so it can be colored. If you guys want to, if you print it off on cardstock, you can use pencil crayons, or You can print it off on mixed media paper or whatever you want to do. So there's a spot for your own paintings each month. So my plan is either on the last day of the month before or the first day of that month to do my painting. Thanks, Eileen. Debbie. Under some weights. Yeah, I can do that too. All right. So each month has its own. And then, of course, birthdays, important dates, and then your 2020 calendar. All right. So I still have lots of time. So I'm going to start. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to get the other roll out of here too. So it's easier if it's just the there. If it's just my needles in there and put my thread in here. All right. So I think I'm going to sit it like that. Let's see. How am I going to sit it to work on it? Yeah, maybe like that. So what I'm going to do. There, now it'll sit nice and flat for me. Okie dokie. Okay. Yes, there is a link on my blog. If someone wants to put the link in, there is a downloadable PDF on my blog so everybody can print this off for themselves rather than do a drawing and herding cats. I'm just giving everybody a handout. Okie dokie. So I am going to do this with, oops, I need my, I think. All right, so I'm going to use my number 8 silver black velvet. Oh, I got some notes here. I was supposed to make sure. Oh, yes. I want to be, just before I start watercoloring, I want to thank everyone who streamed at any point today. I know that we all find it fun, but it was really nice it was so easy to fill the spots. So that made it easy for me organizing and all that stuff. So thank you very much to everyone who agreed to give up some of their time on New Year's Eve to stream for us. So we missed part of Brazil. Oh my gosh. Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador. Uh-oh, hold on. Happy New Year, Newfoundland and Labrador. Woohoo! Clink your glasses. And there's our ball. Woohoo! Falling down. Sorry, Newfoundland, Labrador, and part of Greenland. I missed you guys. I was too late. I set my timers all totally wrong. I counted wrong. Anyway. Oh, and also, by the way, I'm going to do a little sales pitch here. I know there's a lot of people here watching my stream tonight who may not have been watching me regularly. And on my blog, I have some digital stamps. So in order to purchase these stamps, you need to have a digital cutter. But they're very reasonable. So if you have a cameo or silhouette of any kind, cameo or portrait or curio, or you have the newer Cricuts that will cut from a digital file, from a JPEG, or in the file that you get if you purchase any of these, it's all explained on my blog, so I'm not going to go through how. It tells you how to order. There's an order form and everything. If you do decide to purchase any, you will get an SVG, you will get a JPEG, you'll get a PNG file, you'll get the Studio 3 file. So you will have and a DXF file, because there are some cutting machines that use a DXF. So you will get whatever file you need to cut on a digital cutter, if you're interested. Oh, I meant stencils. Thank you, CB. See, I'm getting tired. Thank you, thank you. Stencils, not stamps. I'm sorry, stencils. Stencils. You're welcome, Elaine. Thank you, Josie. Oh, yay, Lucy. Well, my files are anywhere between $1 and $4, depending on the detail of the file. All right, so I'm going to start with the background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do cool colors. Oh, that brush seems to still be a little dirty. That's okay, because I'm going to use blue and green anyway, so it doesn't matter. But so I'm going to wet the whole thing, but not too close to the letters. When I get close to the letters, I'll just do that without wet on wet. And then I'm going to do warm colors inside my letters. So I'm going to notice the difference when I'm painting on this, because it's only 25% cotton instead of 100, but it's still decent paper. But it's going to buckle more than my 100% cotton Fabriano will. So cool colors. So I'm going to do greens. And turquoise and blues. Oh, that I'm ending up getting a little aqua there because my brush wasn't totally clean when I went into the cobalt turquoise, but that's okay. And then a purple. Well, actually, I want a blue as well. So I'm going to go into cerulean. Oh, I didn't spritz these. That's why I'm having trouble. Okay, 2 weeks away and I forget everything I'm doing. Gosh, you'd think I was away for a month. Okay, now that my paper's like dry, so I forgot to get my paint ready. See, I get my paint ready in my porcelain palette. So let's put a little water back on here. Try not to totally get the black. It will run a little bit, the ink, but it doesn't run a whole lot. All right. These are my Shinhan PWCs. I didn't get enough purple light at all. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. So this does not have to be perfect, but I do want to try and keep inside the letters, for the most part, my warm colors. So I need to get some green up here because it's all at the bottom right now. And I need to get a little bit of this. Oh, actually, that's the another one I need to get down here. Okay, I'm getting a little puddling there, so I want to be careful. All right, I want to get this green a little bit more dense. Okay, I think I'll put some purple right in here. Vaughn, any of the Silhouette machines, any of the newer Cricuts, the Cricut Air, Scan and Cut, oh, there's another brand out there too that I always forget about. I'm not sure. How do I choose which one to use for which project? Well, it depends on the colors. Right now I'm using my Shinhans, but I could have easily used my M gram. I do know that the number one set of Kramer that I have, I think it's set number one. It has beautiful colors in it for sunsets and sunrises. So that would be a reason to use it. Hey, Katrina. Vaughn, do not be silly. Yeah, Shauna. To me, with watercolor, when I was learning, I started on this paper, this Fabriano 25% cotton, and I did fairly well. But it was when I switched to 100% cotton that I really realized that for me, now it totally depends on the style of watercolor you're doing. But for me, the paper made the biggest difference for me to get the look that I wanted from my paintings. Okay. And it was like this aha moment when I started using 100% watercolor paper. It was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I couldn't do this, or no wonder I couldn't do that. And yes, the brushes, when I got my Zen watercolor brushes, and my silver black velvet, they did make a difference as well. It was a total new learning curve because all of a sudden I had these brushes that held tons of water compared to my, cheapo Michael's brand ones that I was using before. All of a sudden it was like my paintbrushes were holding paint, water, and paint. So it was a change, but not as big a change in being effective as my paper was. But that may not be the same for everyone. Because of what they paint or how they paint. Some people, it may be the paint that makes the difference if you're looking for vibrancy. Like the Shinhans, these don't fade back quite as much. Most of them, the yellows do, which is normal. But these don't fade back quite as much after they dry as the M grams. Now, that doesn't mean they're better, because perhaps the light fat, although they say the light fastness of the Shinhans, when I compared, they're all comparable according to the company as what the M grams are. But, have they been tested over time like M grams? Well, obviously not, because M grams are a lot, they've been around a lot longer than the Shinhans. Now, these are the Shinhan PWC, the premium watercolor, not professional. So the professional they have two student grade paints. The professionals are kind of like the middle of the road paint. And those are the ones that Eileen ordered, and those are the ones that Debbie has. Now, if you're painting in a journal or whatever, light fastness is not going to be an issue. So then you don't have to whack, whatever. Well, and that's true, Shauna, because there are now, not like before, not like years ago, there are now very if there are affordable 100% cotton papers that are really nice. From Cheap Joe's, they're it's right here. The Kilimanjaro journal. This is 100% cotton paper. This is Cheap Joe's in-house brand, and man, I wish if I lived in the States, I'd be using this all the time. Love this paper. Okay, I do like the Fabriano cold press 100%, a little bit better than Arches. It could be my stylistic choice. They're both wonderful. Arches is great, but I do like the Fabriano a little bit better. But this Kilimanjaro is amazing. Bee paper, the 140-pound bee paper is really great paper. All right, so now I'm not going to do wet on wet for this. I'm going to do my warm colors. So I'm going to use yellows and reds. Okay, so I'm actually going to do a little just my warm yellow. I'm not going to use a cool yellow simply because it won't show up as much. It's not as warm. I want warm colors. My lemon yellow is very, very close to a cool color. It's very close to a green. So I want to keep it a little warmer than that. So I'm going to use a little yellow or orange next. Yes, Monique. Hot press and cold press is a personal choice. Hot press is great if you're doing artwork that has a lot of good fine detail, but you don't necessarily want a lot of texture. I personally don't like hot press. I cannot for the life of me. Now, granted, I shouldn't say that because I haven't used 100%. I haven't tried Arches 100% paper. I haven't tried 100%. Oh, I can't talk. I'm so tired. I have not tried 100% cotton hot press paper. I've only tried the 25%, the Fabriano 25% cotton, and I do not like it at all. I cannot make it do. I cannot make the paint flow on that hot press paper the way I want it to because I like the cold press, So it's just, that's just a personal choice. I like cold press for the style of painting that I like to do. So that's as close to pink as you're going to get from me. Quinacridone red. No, Eileen, they're probably sitting. Last I heard, they had left Memphis, and there's no update, so they must not have made it to customs yet. And then once it gets to, they're supposed to come on Wednesday though, so maybe that I haven't checked since really early this morning. So they may have gone through customs because it left Memphis last night. So. And if I have time, I'm going to paint my... Oh! Happy New Year to me! Happy New Year to me! Happy New Year to me! I'm going to give myself some bubbles. Happy New Year to me! I ordered a set of specialty brushes. What brand were they, Eileen? There were 3 ribbon brushes, 4 different rake brushes. It was a set of 10 brushes. Then there were 2 sized of stippling brushes, and then a triangle. No, I don't know if it's a triangle one, but it's one of those ones that's shaped for doing leaves and stuff. So, yeah. Sorry, let's get rid of those, and that, and let's get rid of the bubbles. There we go. Yeah, Dagger. That's it. Sorry. I can't remember the brand though. But they looked cool. And they were kind of expensive, but you know, what can I say? Oh, I messed up. Well, dang it. Messed up my pattern. That's going to bug me every time I look at this stupid cover. So I'll leave the other red out this time. Dang it. So I'll just do the one red again. I should have done 3 colors anyway, not 4. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, whatever. Okay, and I may actually go in and do some shading with pencils another day. Who knows? Need a little bit more of that red. Now, see that background would have blended a lot more if it was cotton paper, because it would have held the water more. So that's the big thing. Hey, Lisa. Thank you, Tita. Okay. All right. So there's the cover. Yeah. Paula Journal Artista did a comparison of the, and I don't own any Prima or Jane Davenport watercolor paints because I'm not interested in using watercolor necessarily in mixed media. And I do have a couple of cheap ones. Hey, Janice. Hello there. Janice, on my blog, there is a link to download this calendar file. There's a PDF that you can download if you wish. Okay, so I am going to work on my January painting. Oops. Come on, be nice to me here. I do want to protect my other pages a little bit. So I think I'll just, oh, there we go. I'll fold it like a present. Fold that under there. Fold this under here. Now let's hope I can see well enough to paint what I want to paint. I may have to do this. We'll see. So let me see if it needs to focus at all. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, yes, Princeton. Actually, one of my favorite rigger that I totally messed up was a Princeton. And I really liked it because it was flexible, but it was firm at the same time. So it was really great for learning to do wires. Now, this is the painting that I'm going to try and do. Hold on. Hold on just a second. There we go. There's the painting I'm going to try to do. Hold on. What's going on with my... Just a second. My Manicam screen's going. Oh, no. Now what have you done? Now you've totally messed up, Jean. One moment, please. There we go. Okay. All right. So, sorry. I had this set up and I don't know what happened to it. Oops. Sorry. Moving the wrong thing. Oh, sorry. Grabbed the wrong. There we go. All right. So there's the painting. Here I am. Okay, Sharon. Can't wait, eh? Well, Oh, Dorothy, I'm shocked you've made it this far. Go ahead and fall asleep. I will not be insulted. Goodness gracious. All right, so I've got my circle. Just decide which size is a good size. I need to open it on my iPad for myself, my own reference here. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page again. There we go. All right, so I've got it open on my iPad so that I can see it. Oh, of course, it's low battery. Figures. All right. I think that size is good. Oops. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I made that way too dark, but that's beside the point. I can pull that up some. Yeah. I started with Cotman too, Debbie, and man, am I glad I moved up from those. Whew. Yeah, same for me, Shauna. Wait, right now, M-Gram and Shinhan are close. However, the M-Gram are on top because of two reasons. Number one, they re-wet very well. And the second reason is they do flow a little bit better than the Shinhans. But, the Shinhans, there are a couple of colors in the Shinhans that are amazing that M-Gram doesn't have. So, it's kind of all right. I don't like to see, but I can erase some of that off too, probably after I. All right, so I'm going to do some masking fluid because I'm going to mask off the entire circle here. Now, the bottom, before I do that though, the bottom, you don't see the circle at the bottom. So, because it's sitting in, it looks like crystal, or I don't know what it is that it's sitting on. It's sitting on a ledge that has snow on it and stuff. Snowy grass, I think it's sitting on. It's a bubble. Okay. Alrighty, so I use my clay shaper. It is Debbie, and it's the Shinhan Professional, which is the higher student grade. a very good price there on Amazon right now. As long as I do the edge of this all the way around, I don't really have to do the whole center. So I want to make sure I do enough so that I don't have to pull back my blue to get back to my white. Now, normally I'd put this into a cap, but the reason I'm going right out of my bottle is because I can't find my cap. I don't know where it went. My cleaner may have thrown it out thinking it was garbage. That's all right. I've got another cap. Well, that was my eraser. May as well fill in most of it there. All right, now right on this side, I need to fix this. I'm going to switch to my smaller one, but I'm going to get my baby wipe here. Oh, for heaven's sake, just knocked my brush down on the floor. I'm going to go to my smaller round clay shaper because there is a, well, maybe I'm going to my smaller one. Oh, yeah, there it is. Always hides on me. Because there is a starburst here on the side. Plus, I'm going to make sure I've got right to the edge here. I have to turn it this way so I can get the circle better. Now, this is the graphics liquid masking, and I put a little bit of alizarin crimson in it. All right, so now I'm going to drag for the starburst or sunburst. Don't quite like how that turned out, so we'll see. Now, I think, while that's drying, I'm going to take my pencil and draw. All right. So I need cerulean blue and a little bit of a little bit what? Did I have my first troll? Ooh. Well, added all 2 years ago, I knew nothing about watercolor. So, it's a matter of watching videos and doing, like Debbie says, doing washes, figuring out how you're. If there's time at the end, I'll show you guys one of my old journals. Now we're waiting for this to dry. Catch up on chat. Uh-oh. Maybe I should pick up my paintbrush that fell down here while I'm waiting for that to dry. Where did it fall? Where did my paintbrush go? I heard it fall. That my heat gun fell also, but that's easier to find. Oh, come on. It's not like I'm looking for it. Probably fell under the desk where there's no light, obviously, because I'm not seeing it. Oh, I see it. Got it. Oh no, Debbie, really? So how's Janet doing? I hope she hasn't drunk herself under the table yet. Don't know if I'll get this finished because I have what, like 20 minutes before Janet starts, so I may not finish. Yep, Texas, CB, that's right. Well, you know what? Texas are not. When we were little, they don't anymore because it's against the law now. But when we were little, the hunters used to go out in our neighborhood. Like, we always heard gunshots at New Year's Eve at midnight. Yes, Lena, your painting turned out gorgeous. And I think your stream was the hit of the day. Of course. Yeah, I haven't tried Da Vinci brand, and I don't know. I'm so happy with my M-Gram and my Shinhan, I really don't see any need. I have a few core that I have to get those put into a palette. I have a few more palettes. I want to get a palette put together with my favorite M-Gram mixed with some my a landscape kind of set, and I want to do a seascape sort of set. And I'm going to mix in some cores there. I have to play more with the cores because I know, Jillian, aren't you lucky? Woohoo! And yeah, your Holbeins. Now, Debbie, which do you prefer? Have you worked enough with your Holbeins yet to know whether you prefer the M-Grams or the Holbeins? You've only had them a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure you've worked enough with them yet. I think that's dry enough. All right, so the background is cerulean blue in there, and I need shading green to go with my cerulean blue. And all right, so let's mix those before I wet my background. Because background has to be nice and wet. I might not get the background the way I want it because of the paper, but we'll see how well I can get it close to what I want. It's not a very big piece of paper, so I'm not going to need an enormous amount of paint. So I've got an ultramarine light and an ultramarine deep. So I'm going to use the ultramarine light. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. That's not ultramarine. That's cobalt. I don't want cobalt. Cobalt's not horrible, but I don't really like it in skies. Oh, it's a pretty color, but I don't like it in my skies. Okay, hold on. That's right. Ultramarine is the next one. Okay, so just don't need much of that. And then I need my shading green. Which one is my shading green? This one. All right. So you guys can see what I'm painting in the bottom left corner. Oh, I want to do, Lena, I want to do that winter scene that Lindsay painted with the birch trees and the river. I really want to paint that one. I've got to do more art this winter. I've spent a lot of days just not doing anything, and I really need to art along while other people are arting, but I miss the chat then when I do that. But I really need to do more art. I mean, I don't even do art every day, which I really should. Okay, so all right, let's wet my background here. And this is the biggest difference for the way I work with between this 25% cotton and the 100% cotton is the difference in the water, how quickly the 25% cotton even dries compared. Because I like to work wet and wet in my backgrounds, it's much more difficult to do on the 25% cotton. All right. Of course, it also doesn't help that it's on this little thing here. It's perfectly blue, clear blue sky, but I don't usually like to have a perfectly blue sky. I usually like to give it a little texture, some kind, a few clouds or something. See, and even that's not blending as nicely as it would on 100% cotton. 100% cotton, that would be completely flowing into each other. And now go in while it's still wet. You want it to be fuzzy because it's the background. It's not the important part of the painting. You want there to be essence of trees and sky. I'm going to have to put on a second coat of this green because it's That's okay. You're better off to start light. You can always add more. It's much more difficult to take off than to add with watercolor. And always dry between your layers of watercolor. And I need to pick up some from the bottom here because that's going to bloom back on me if I don't. Oh, yeah. Hold back on the. Well, yeah, red's very, very tricky. You really have to, especially if it's alizarin crimson, you really have to water it down. So I need to do a little more a little more color in both of those. Oops. Need a little more water. Okay, then I'm going to go in damp clean brush. And this is harder on this kind of paper. Or else I've just gotten spoiled by using good paper. I haven't had to make it work. See, I like that added color, but now it's not as, I'm going to try something here. I'm just going to spritz it, see if it'll, because now it's too defined. It's supposed to be. Background. Gonna let it see if it'll work a little bit. Exactly, Elaine. Practice, practice, practice. I'm gonna, now that I've done 2 years of watercolor and got my techniques down a little bit, I'm going to go back to doing some, I'm going to leave this like this. I'm going to paint the rest of this maybe tomorrow when I wake up, if I wake up tomorrow. I've got 10 minutes left. I kind of want to show a couple of things from journals because I want to show you guys kind of how I have progressed in my watercolor journal. I want to show you, if I can find it, just a second. If I can find the journal, that is. One moment. I've got my Kleenex piled in front of where I want to get here. Name it, please. Okay. I'm trying to get this journal out. This is it. And there's this. Where's my little one? Maybe it's over here. Trying to get them kind of in order. Is this the one that has my, yes. I don't know where my little one is. Anyway, this is my last one, so. All right, so do you guys want to see? I'm going to put this over here in a safe place. Let it kind of fuzz out. Let me go back over here. Uh-oh, I think I may have moved my camera. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So I'm going to show you my very first landscape that I thought, you know what? I'm going to try watercoloring. I'm going to do a landscape. I found a picture. All right, so this is where I was starting from, guys, 2 years ago, all right? There's my very first sunset watercolor. Oh my, these are mountains. This is sun, this is the sky. Very abstract, Monique. It's not even good enough to be called abstract. So, anyway, then this was just playing with those, you know, those pens that the water flows. But, all right, so then I did this sunflower, which was okay, but it's very flat, okay? I didn't get any dimension at all. Oh, I know, Eileen, is your kind of. All right, and that's the rest of this book is like empty, so I got to start putting something in that one. But I don't like to go not in order. And so then there's this one. This was my glass. Yeah. So this was one of my first glass paintings. This was my practice painting for a larger painting I did for my niece. Exactly how it all. That was like a little over 2 years ago. This was a sunset, and I ended up being fairly happy with it. I love how the water turned out. I like the water blend much better than the top blend. So then there was this poppy. I made notes on it. I got a little more dimension with this than with the sunflower, but I still didn't get enough movement or flow from this. I didn't get any like curve. My brush strokes weren't proper. So I made notes here and what I need to improve. Thank you, Sharon. And then this is another glass that I did. I love glass. This actually was plastic, not glass. Your reflections are different. You don't get as much reflection with plastic as with glass. This is a plastic tumbler. Thank you, Beth Ann. Yes, it has been 2 years. 2 years in January. So is Janet already up? And this one I really like. See, this is 12/10/2017. So this was a year ago. There's a little journal missing in between these, and I have a sneaking feeling it might have fallen in behind my desk. I'm going to go searching for it. There's another small journal that I did, July prompts in that's missing. MIA. It's gone MIA. This was one of Carrie's photos. Thanks, Catherine. Then I was doing a mountainscape. I did this without a reference, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Thanks, Deb. All right, and then this was NoJo Pro 2017. So this was last November. I created a series of prompts for November because NaNoJumo, she didn't do NaNoJumo last year. So I did prompts. So dream, I think, is the first one. Dream. A dream is a wish your heart makes. So I watercolored that. Prangs are very good watercolors. You could do a lot of what I'm doing with prangs for sure. They're very vibrant. They flow nicely. I mean, if you put your art on the wall, it's going to fade very quickly because they're not very light fast. But in a journal, that's not going to make a difference because there's not long exposure to light when they're in a journal. I like how this one turned out. Yes, they are. You're right, Lena. They moisten very quickly. This was my first attempt at a gem. So I did the Hope Diamond for Hope. When you're doing gems and crystals, you cannot focus and when you're doing glass of any kind. And perhaps that's why it kind of is easy for me. You can't focus on the big picture. You have to focus on painting each shape that you see. And then when you look at it from afar, you're going to get the big picture. But while you're painting it, so is Janet ready to go, guys? Or has she fallen asleep? Oh, yes, you can get prangs, Dusty, in Canada. This is one of my favorites. This is my cousin's favorite, my candy apple. I don't want to go into Janet's time if she's all ready. I love my candy apple. That turned out so awesome. Oh, she's ready? Okay. Let's hand it on over to Janet so she can do the Eastern time zone. Happy New Year. Thank you, everyone. I'll leave you all hungry with my candy apple. Thanks, everyone. Woohoo, Janet. We're heading over to you. Bye.